perfect treat for Easter Sunday now on BBC Two. We are live from the Crucible Theatre. It's day 2 from the Snooker World Championship.
The reigning, defending champion of the world, Mark J. Williams.
The ovation I got when he went out, it was just the loudest that I've ever had at the Crucible. It was just brilliant. You know, it was one of the best feelings ever. It was absolutely unbelievable. You know, that's what it's all about for me now, a family, and for them to be there, you know, because they don't get to experience it that much, and, you know, that's brilliant, looking up and seeing how they're clapping away.
The first century of this World Championship coming up. It's by the defending champion. It's been an immaculate break.
So the defending champion is through, and if you're still in it, you can win it.
Getting past that first round is the hardest in the Crucible. I would have thought I could win it last year, and lightning strike twice. We'll have to wait and see.
Hello and welcome along to day 2 of the Betfred World Snooker Championship here in Sheffield. Pleasure to have your company, and likewise it's a pleasure to have the company of Steve Davis. Welcome along. So yesterday we saw the defending champion Mark Williams go through to round 2, but today it's all eyes on China's #1 Ding Junhui. He's up against Anthony McGill. So session 1 saw Ding Junhui lead by the end, 6 frames to 3. Steve, what did you make of Ding's performance yesterday?
We were concentrating at the time on the match on the other table. You keep an eye on what's going on, and it wasn't the best standard to start with, but I think Ding did his job as well as he could have possibly done. He could have even been 7-2 up in that session, but Anthony McGill made a good 76 to finish off with. I would say it's a workmanlike performance by Ding, because the first round, as we know, a potential banana skin for all of the top players. They're all desperate to get through it, because it seems like it's a very short distance compared to the rest of the tournament. So the best of 19 is the one they want to try and get over before they can get their teeth into the rest of the tournament.
You make a great point there, because for the rest of the snooker calendar, generally we're looking at best of 11 frames, aren't we, until you get to a final?
Yeah.
So it is a bit of a transition.
It is, but, you know, if you have a bad day, even though it's 2 sessions, you have a bad day, you're out of this tournament, and nobody wants to be out of the World Championship. So, therefore, once it gets to the best of 25, the players breathe a sigh of relief and they can get their teeth into 3-session matches, which is the luxury.
Well, that's our focus for today, Ding Junhui against Anthony McGill. But on table 1, we'll see the 4-time world champion John Higgins up against Mark Davis. Now, if we look at their head-to-head record, which we'll have a look at a bit later, Mark Davis has the better in their meetings in previous history. That's a bit strange, considering they're quite far apart in the world rankings.
Yeah, I mean, it shows you how great a player Mark Davis is, but obviously he hasn't got the credentials that John Higgins has here, so you would expect John to be getting over the line. But John hasn't been playing that great. This year's not been good for him. And I think he's sort of trying to address that. But it's not easy to do if you're coming to bad form, or if you're in bad form and you're coming up to the World Championship. It's a worry. You'd like to be in winning form coming into this tournament. So, but having said that, you know, if one player that gives 100% all the time, John Higgins is the man. And at the Crucible, perhaps he's a different animal.
It certainly is. And I was going to ask you about form going into a big tournament, because we always say when it comes to big occasions, sometimes form book goes out the window because you draw on something that you have because you get yourself up for the occasion. Yeah,
well, I mean, I think all sports confidence. It's all about confidence, but it's snooker very much so. So, therefore, if you are brimming with confidence, as we saw Neil Robertson yesterday, that can count for a lot. If you're a bit worried about your game, that's not the best attitude to have. But, you know, if you can turn it around at the World Championship from no confidence come to winning it, what a performance that would be for John Higgins.
Absolutely so. Well, let's head into the arena now and say hello to our MC, Rob Walker.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Easter Sunday from everybody here at the Betfred World Snooker Championship. The breaking news here at the Crucible is that the crowd have also been tucking into their chocolate eggs, so they're poised and ready for day 2 here at the sport's spiritual home. Please welcome the oldest player to make it to the Crucible for 9 years after coming through qualifying brilliantly. When he made his debut here in '94, the UK #1 was Take That's Everything Changes. A quarter of a century later, he hasn't. Still going strong at the tender age of 46. And remember, he made the English Open final earlier this season. He is the battler from Hastings, Mark Davis. And his opponent, one of the finest sportsmen Scotland has ever produced. This is a milestone 25th consecutive Crucible campaign for a player who's lifted the trophy on 4 occasions. Winner of 30 ranking titles in all, he is the Wizard of Wishaw, John Higgins. And on table 2, here comes a player making his 5th consecutive Crucible appearance after that sensational comeback against the Milkman on Wednesday. He showed those battling qualities yesterday, taking the last of the session with a nerveless break of 76. Winner of the Indian Open and the shootout, he loves the long frame format. Here comes Glasgow's smiling assassin, Anthony McGill. And finally, leading the charge for his country, the oldest of a record 6 Chinese players to make it to the Crucible this year, bidding for his 10th appearance in the last 16. Double UK champion, 13 ranking crowns in all so far, and former world finalist in 16. Enter the Dragon, Ding Junhui!
So if you'd like to watch John Higgins face Mark Davis, that is live on the red button and on the website. Our commentators for that one are John Virgo and Alan McManus. But here on BBC Two, it's Dennis Taylor and Ken Doherty taking you through Ding Junhui against Anthony McGill.
Thank you, Seema. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the second session of this first round encounter here. Day 2 at the Crucible. And once again, the weather fabulous in Sheffield, and that's a pretty good break-off shot from Anthony McGill. Needs a quick start here, Ken.
Yeah, absolutely. Didn't play particularly well, as Steve Davis said, just in the studio there in the practice room. It seemed that, you know, both players didn't play their best, and Ding Junhui actually snatched a few frames from Anthony McGill yesterday. Yeah, big test now for Anthony McGill. Excellent escape there from Ding Junhui. I think he's got to win 3 of these 4 frames, Dennis, to have a chance.
Yeah, I think what Anthony's got to think about is his last qualifying round to get here. He was 7-2 down to Robert Milkins and come back and won that 10-8 in the end. And that's the sort of thoughts you got to have when you're 6-3 down. You know, keep yourself positive, and that's another good safety from Anthony. Although there might just be a gap between the yellow and blue to come down off the reds. Ding Junhui having a look from both ends there.
Just playing this with a touch of the left-hand side, trying to swing it off maybe 4 cushions and back up behind the yellow. Didn't catch it too well. But yeah, going back to that match against Robert Milkins from 7-2 down, yeah, you think of all the positives and take all the positives from that type of match, and hopefully you can gives you certainly confidence when you can come back from a deficit like that, Dennis, against anybody. Quality player Anthony McGill, been to the quarterfinals here a couple of years ago.
And just look where the Reds finished. I mean, you take that shot on as a sort of a shot to nothing. You think, well, I can get a safe white. I'll screw back. But look where the Red finished up, the one he missed, all the way around the table. Amazing.
One.
Now, it's a bit of a chance here, because if he rolls this in, he can get on the red that's next to the black. I think the black's tied up at the moment, but the red's available. He's just having a look. He's got a couple of reds into the middle pocket, but he'd love to get that one away from the black.
Yeah, quite a clever little shot that, wasn't it? Okay, pink, a lot more difficult than the blue would have been, but this is the more aggressive approach. Safely in, and as you said, nicely on the red beside the black, but also on the red into the right centre as well.
Yeah, I think he'll leave that one next to the black because there's a red blocking the black into the left corner, so he'll take the one to the middle.
Thank you. 7. Eight.
Strange shot, he just didn't seem to get into that. Left himself the wrong side of the blue, but should be okay. Lots of side there, right hand side on the ball to create the angle there.
13.
Just watch the white as it hits the ball cushion coming off at that angle, all with right hand side applied.
That's a beautiful shot. Perfect. Top side of the blue, and now we can try and get on that red above the black, or even the red that's closest to this bottom left hand corner pocket. This red is being in the way, and
90.
as soon as he pots it, of course, it will clear the back. Then it becomes a real good chance. Let's get top side of the blue here again. Doesn't want to be straight. Yeah, must get top side of the blue, and that's a poor shot. He's come down to have a look at the angle, because these are, even though it's close to the pocket,
25.
still quite tricky, these shots. Gotta be very careful with them. Yeah, no problem.
26.
But again, wrong side of the blue again.
There's just one red available to him, the one to the left of the pack. And he'd have to get over the left side of the table to leave it for the right corner. If he doesn't do that, he's going to have to try and go into the bunch off a couple of cushions with side again. And he's played it well. This is a great effort. How's his luck? At first glance, not very good. Couldn't have played it any better.
31.
A little bit unfortunate there.
Ding Junhui, 31.
Yeah, keeping the pressure on his opponent. It could have been a little bit closer with the cue ball to the ball cushion. But still, he's blocked the path down this left-hand side of the table. Actually not a bad shot he's played there, Ding Junhui. Purposely tried to get behind the yellow, but if you see where can't get down from the left hand side, the right hand side, the blue is blocking the reds on the right hand side of the table, so maybe a two cushion escape here. Got to be very careful.
He was a mile away from that first attempt.
Ding Junhui, 4. Yeah.
He's allowed one more go, really, because he can see red, so the 3 miss rule would apply here.
Yeah, Ding.
You would feel he's got to get it this time, otherwise he's under a bit of pressure. He's a bit too thick. That's what happens. That's why you're looking for that thin contact. Very difficult to judge that type of escape. And that could be costly. That could cost him this first frame of this session.
One.
Just about the right side of blue this time. There's a red just below the pink spot to the right. Will pot into this bottom right hand corner pocket. I think that may be his next choice of red. Certainly looked good
7.
at certain times during yesterday's session when we were commentating on it. Ding Junhui made a wonderful 129. His 502nd career century, believe it or not. One of the best break builders in the game. But at times, Dennis, yesterday, and we've seen it from Ding Junhui over the past couple of seasons, concentration levels weren't always what they should have been.
14.
Yeah, I didn't see much of this match. I was on the other game, but the breaks seemed to be good, but obviously in between he's missing a few.
15.
He breaks it. Started off with a 64 break, then he had a 70 in frame 4, 64 in frame 5, 52 frame 6.
There was a couple of close games, the 5th frame and the 6th frame yesterday. Very,
20.
very, very close indeed. But on his form and on the top of his game, he's as good as anybody, Ding Junhui. So good to watch. His cue ball control is exemplary.
Yeah, and I suppose only for Mark Selby, this Chinese player could have been the first world champion from that part of the world. Lost to Mark Selby in the semi-final, 17-15 in 2017. And the year before,
26.
lost in the final, 18-14. So
Yeah, it was probably the best that anyone's ever played without actually winning this championship. It was incredible, those 2 matches against Mark Selby. This will be the frame winner, this ball here, if you can get it. It'll be nicely on the pink.
27.
That should be it.
$33. 34.
And the frame's
41.
completely safe now.
$42.
And can't make the century break now when he's taking the pink. It would needed all blacks to get to 100.
48. 49.
24 centuries this season. He's had that magic of 147 and 6
57.
57. Just got a wonderful cue action, hasn't he? And
64.
how still he stays on the shot as well. His head never moves.
65.
But it's his cue ball control that is really up with a bus.
Oh, he's played that. Oh, I thought he was in the, I was saying he played
72.
it really well with a lot of topspin. You can see the white come off the 2 cushions there.
74.
No, that takes years of practice playing that positional shot tennis.
But I'll tell you what, he looks
77.
pretty alert for 10 o'clock in the morning
He
start.
does.
I keep mentioning it. Years back, the great John Spencer, 3 times champion. We weren't used to playing early in the morning, and he used to be
81.
walking around Sheffield at 7 o'clock in the morning just to get himself ready for the 10 o'clock session.
86. 92.
That one mistake from Anthony McGill proved very costly because Ding Junhui looked in terrific form to clear up there, and he now leads Anthony by 7 frames to 3.
Well, he certainly is in great form, isn't he, Ding, this morning? And he was very, very close to a century there, just 1 off.
Yeah, he won't be too bothered about that. Getting that first frame under his belt in this session's the most important thing. And one from Anthony McGill's perspective, he would have loved to have won because the difference between 6-4 and 7-2 seems like a sort of chasm. So it's going to be tough from Anthony McGill's perspective now from the rest of this session to be tough. He's got to win it 7-2 from here on in. And it doesn't look like he's got the form to do that. He did very well to get through the qualifiers. He hasn't had a great season. So how he turns that around, I don't really know, because it doesn't look like he's going to be outplaying Ding Junhui.
Are you expecting then more of the same from Ding?
Well, once a top player like Ding Junhui's got breathing space, then they start to relax and play. So it's looking like it's going to go that direction. You never know, because every shot can change a match. But once a top player's in stroke and starts to realise he's sort of probably sees the finishing line in the distance, they usually go for it pretty well.
And as we heard Dennis Taylor say, you can't afford to make a mistake when you're up against a player like Ding, who is in good form at the moment.
No, and I think one of the players yesterday was saying that the difference between the qualifiers and the jump in standard to the top 16 is different. Yeah, they're not the top 16 for nothing. They make more of their opportunities, and that's the trouble with the players further down the rankings. They're bashing themselves up 3 matches to get through to Sheffield to play a great match against a great player.
OK, well, let's head back to the arena and join our commentators.
Yeah, and there's a lot to be said, I suppose, when you talk about the qualifiers that were only on last week or so. Dennis, that they played, you know, 3 top matches, 3 tough matches as well. Okay, they have a bit of momentum, a bit of confidence, but also they're very draining as well. Flip side to every coin, I suppose.
Yeah, it's pretty tough, those qualifying rounds. In fact, if you're number 17 seed, you've got to play 3 rounds as well, which seems a little bit harsh, but that's the nature of the game these days. I think Mr. Hearn knows what he's doing. That's a good safety shot from Anthony there. And that's what he needs here. He needs some very good tactical play to try and force the opening, but of course then he's got to take it. As I say, he came back from 7-2 down in the last qualifying round to beat Robert Milkins. Keep those thoughts in your head.
Quite sure. He's just having a look at the gap here. This red, the extreme left of the table. He's having a look. Could he pot this and maybe go through the gap between red and black and back down the table? But I don't think that gap is there. Well, maybe it is. He's having a go, is he? He's having a go, and the gap was there, and that's what he was looking at. And that's an excellent shot. Great opener. Judged it perfectly. There wasn't much room between that red and the black. To put any sort of pressure on Ding Junhui. He's really got to make the most of this opportunity here, I feel. Plenty of reds in the open before worrying about going into the pack on the stage.
6. $11. 12. 4. 19.
Just a little bit congested, isn't it, around the black?
20.
I think the red just above the black to the right will pot into the left corner pocket. So once he gets that one out of the way, a little bit more freer around there. That's the one he's on now. Once he pots this, he will release
27.
the one directly above the black into the right corner. So pretty good chance now.
$28.
Yes, he created this chance with playing an excellent safety shot.
$35. 36.
'He's taking these very well indeed, because as Ken mentioned, the
43.
black was tied up somewhat, but he's moved the reds shot by shot and cleared the black completely. Now just a little bit out of position here. Got to be a little bit careful when playing the cannon. In fact, he's changed his mind, which is a good choice.
44.
And that's played to perfection. Back in prime position again. Yeah, it was definitely a frame he badly needed, and he's doing it in style here.
49.
Break goes to 49. 2 loose reds still available. That will take him up to 65.
50.
So he's going to need one more red and colour from the bunch, which means he's going to have to play a little cannon to try and free one of those reds. And this may be the opportunity here. If this goes right, it should be okay. But has it gone right? No, it hasn't. And that was the only chance Ding had. And again,
57.
very unfortunate he's not on a red there.
Well, he couldn't have hit that much better. Very unlucky, as you said, because that would have been the end of frame. And that white travelled another inch.
Anthony McGill, 57.
Yeah, good break at 57, but he'll be disappointed. Only a couple more pots away from winning the frame. It's been the story of this match for Anthony McGill. Quite unfortunate yesterday as well, and a few of the frames that could have gone his way. Be happy that red has gone safe. And of course, he's got the bit of insurance with the pink safe as well.
And the red that's almost on the pink spot, he can have a go at this as a shot to nothing.
Thing is certainly on the red, just above the black to the left. But it's just, I don't think you can see enough of the cue ball. It's awkward cueing, so opting for the safety shot. This looks a good line. Yeah, good shot. Excellent safety shot. That's the player's view. Played a containing safety shot and he's trying to get the red safe. Not a bad idea when you've got a 57-point lead. Ding, on the other hand, trying to get those reds into open play once again. And done a good job of it.
He's got an escape route here, has Anthony. The red to the left of the little triangle of reds there. He can play off the right side of that and get back down towards the yellow. Decided to keep the white up this end, and well, it's okay, but it gives the advantage to Ding in the safety exchange, but he didn't want to risk heading back up the table. Now those 5 reds are out of commission on the side cushion. He can't put many more safe because he needs to pot a couple himself.
Just wondering, can he take this red on, the one that's closest to the black? Just the 2 reds that are close together, just above the black. The bottom one of those, he could play that. Certainly with a lot of left-hand side and straighten up the cue ball. Keep it away from the 5 reds on the left-hand side of the cushion. Bring the cue ball back into bulk. So maybe having a go at this. So you see, if you have a look at his cue, have a look at all the side he's putting on the ball. Watch the cue ball straighten up. And an excellent shot. And you see the amount of side he had on that, Dennis, and how it's straightened off the top cushion here.
Yeah, it's so difficult to judge when you play with that amount of side. You've got to allow for the cue ball to be swerving when you put that amount of side on it.
Try and get a ball colour safe here. Could have done with the cue ball in the middle of the ball cushion and not left. Straightforward safety shot for Ding here. Yeah, good shot. That was a poor shot from Anthony McGill under the circumstances. He's going to find himself in a bit of trouble here. He's thinking of rolling up behind the yellow or bringing the green back into play.
Junwei, 1.
That could have been a bit better.
I'm just wondering if he did that on purpose, just to leave that path down, because he could have rolled tight in behind the yellow, but he's blocked any escape over the white side of the table to land on these reds. He's left him a path through to the one near the pink, but that might have been quite a clever little tactic there from Ding Junwei. Does this red cut? He's got a few points to play with. He doesn't have to take all blacks. There's 67 on the table. There's 57 behind.
Quietly, please. Thank you.
Ooh. A bit fortunate this time. Had it been a full ball, kiss on that brown, Ding would have had a straightforward red into this bottom left-hand corner pocket. hitting the reds, of course, but he's going to try and keep it safe. It's not easy. No. Not the best shot Ding Junhui has ever played. That's going to cost him this second frame.
Just switching hands there, as you can see. Amazing the number of players now that do that. So that little bit of good fortune when he flicked off the brown to cover the red is going to give him this frame.
Eight.
Oh.
Anthony McGill, 8.
Well, can't believe he missed that, Dennis. I know it was tight, and he had plenty of the pocket. Just came across it, and
1.
even though he might end up winning this frame because Ding Junhui is 64 behind, 59 on the table, it's going to unnerve him, and he won't derive too much confidence from winning this frame.
8.
If he eventually does, which you would feel he would have to. But he's put himself through the ringer here. Unwanted sort of nervous energy that he's going to have to burn up here. And also gives a little bit of more confidence to the likes of Ding Junhui to see that if Anthony McGill is going to make
16.
easy, silly errors like that.
Just about enough. He would have loved to have been straighter on the black. He could have just rolled the black in and then got the snooker in behind the pink. Can't do that now. It's a couple of snookers that's needed. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Ken. Anthony McGill will be sitting there thinking, well, we should have been
24.
in the next frame. Might have to wait a while. No.
Junhui,
Didn't judge
24.
that one too well.
Foul.
Doesn't really matter the white going in off.
Junhui, 4.
It's one of those situations where you gain an advantage from a foul shot. Three snookers now needed. Before that foul, it was only 2 that was required. Got the snooker this time. It should be pretty straightforward to come off the cushion behind the black with lots of left hand side.
Well, a chance for Ding here. I'll try and push the yellow up towards the green pocket and get the cue ball in behind the blue here.
So this yellow to take us into the next frame.
Yeah, excellent long pot from Anthony McGill, and I'm sure Ding will stay in his chair if the green doesn't go in. He nods to the referee, and Ding Junhui says yes, that's enough. So Anthony McGill gets off the mark this morning. He closes the gap, but it's still Ding Junhui who leads by 7 frames to 4.
Well, we were saying previously, Steve, that if Anthony McGill finds a way back to win this frame, it would be very impressive. And he managed to do it.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to start to produce something a bit special to get Ding Junhui on the back foot. And it looked like in the early part of that frame, he was doing that. He made a great break and then unfortunately potted a black, went into the pack, didn't get on a red. But, you know, he's won the frame, most important thing. He's got to up his game all round, really, to beat Ding. But, you know, he's obviously a great player and he's done well to get through the qualifiers.
He certainly has. And we've seen him, as you mentioned before, come through the qualifying rounds and actually come from behind to win matches. So he's quite capable of making a comeback.
He is, yes. He did very well to get through his last match. He was 7-2 down to Robert Milkins and turned that around. So he's got fighting qualities. And as Ken said, you know, Ding, some in recent months, this year's, shown some moments when he's lacked concentration. You know, perhaps taking his eye off the sort of, you know, keeping his opponent sort of nailed down. So, you know, possibly if Anthony can stick a few frames together, he can get Ding sitting in his chair more, make him suffer. But that's what you've got to do. You've got to occupy the table, get table time, and get your opponent to go cold.
And he did make it count, didn't he, when Ding played a safety at the beginning or quite early on in the frame and left the open red for the bottom left. McGill made the most of that chance and managed to build up quite a good break. Yeah, you've got to take your chances. And considering he hadn't had much chance in the first frame, that was excellent from his perspective. Yeah, but all these players, they're used to the ropes. They know their way around the snooker table. It's just he's got to play, not no-miss snooker, but he's got to be very efficient amongst the balls to keep Ding off the table because he's a great scorer as well. We talk about past meetings and previous encounters between players all the time. Now, Ding and McGill have met on 4 previous occasions and Ding's won on every occasion. Does that enter the minds of either player? Yeah, it probably does. Yeah, I mean, it's not sort of unusual for a top player like Ding Junhui to have a great record over somebody like Anthony McGill, but it is nice to have beaten a player. You don't really want to sort of know that you've never, ever beaten them at all. OK, well, let's see what happens. Ding Junhui is leading 7 frames to 4. Back we go.
So Anthony gets the frame underway, and not the best break-off shot. He did leave the arena. I never used to like to do that. I felt you just lost a little bit of concentration. You just won a frame, and he's come back in and made a poor break-off shot. Might be okay. Depends on the angle he has on the brown as we show you the long pot. It's so important these days to get a good break-off shot because the players are so good at that type of shot.
Yeah, absolutely. It's okay. It's nicely on this red, and you can stun the cue ball down for the black into the opposite corner pocket. But I totally agree about the break off, Dennis. I mean, and particularly if you don't reach the ball cushion with the cue ball.
6.
9 times out of 10, these top players will knock that long ball in. You see, catch the red at the bottom of the pack there. And you see how far he is from the ball cushion. 9 times out of 10, these top players will knock that long red in.
13.
In fact, some of the matches now, Dennis, you know, when the referee tosses up for break, sometimes a lot of the players now, if they win the toss, they get their opponent to break, where, you know, it never used to be like that. You know, you always thought it was an advantage breaking off for us, whereas now it's like almost the opposite way around.
Yeah, the only time
14.
that ever used to happen was in Pop Black when you played one frame.
Yeah.
If you won the toss, you were frightened to break off. (1969) was the first Pop
21.
black and white television, and then they switched to colour in 1970. Amazing, wherever the year's gone. And who'll ever forget Ted Lowe, the voice of
22.
snooker, that second year. Pop Black, Fred Davis snookered on the yellow. For those of you watching in black and white, the yellow's the colour directly behind the blue.
29.
I've got an angle on this red that's taking him into the other reds, as you can see there. So he's got to be a bit careful with this one. Might just be able to come off the side when potting this and just get on the black again. Well, yeah, he's forced it through. Well played. Great shot.
What a shot. What a shot that is. Have a look at the top spin as it gathers pace, and that is sublime. Beautiful shot. Wow. Just about wiped its feet, this black.
37.
Day 2 at the Crucible, and there's a few gone in like that.
38.
Because of the brand new cloths that are on the table. They tend to slide in off the angle of the pocket.
He's got a nice angle on the blue. You can just drop this blue in and try and get on the red just directly above the black here. And now
40.
let's see where he's not going to win the frame from this position. But that previous red, the one to split all the reds, was a beautiful shot. Wonderful. Set this frame up
44.
lovely. Decide to go into them there.
51. It's touching.
It's touching ball, so he's just got to be careful he doesn't actually touch that red. If that red moves left of the cue ball, that would be a foul. I think he's okay. Yeah.
52.
Wanted to be a little bit straight on this blue. He may have to. He could play a little cannon on potting the blue and go the cue ball into the pink and red, but not this time.
$57.
I tell you what, Dennis, Anthony McGill will be absolutely kicking himself in the chair from that break off after doing all the hard work in the last frame, and to come back into the arena and break off like that. Just again, a little bit of concentration. But he'll be kicking himself there, watching Ding make this break.
And it might be a substantial break at that. Just a couple more pots away from securing
65.
the frame. You can still make possible 140 there, but highly unlikely if he does clear them all because of the red near the blue.
$66.
Luca Brissell,
73.
the Belgian bullet, has got the highest break at the moment, a break of 131.
$74.
And every chance now for the clearance. That
81.
wonderful little cannon there has just opened everything up.
82.
We've had 7 centuries so far, just in day 2.
$89. $90.
And when you do start a match with a 6-3 advantage, you just, the back of your mind, you're thinking, if I share the frames, I'll get over the line. Of course, you want to win every frame, but
96.
what the response this is from Ding Junhui.
97.
Fantastic. Turn up.
104.
It won't be a 140, but it's certainly been a wonderful break, Dennis, and it all came from that long pot.
107.
After the break off from Anthony McGill.
109.
This is Ding Junhui at his very best. He's had the cue ball on a string.
112. 116. 121. 127.
That's a magnificent break from Ding Junhui, the highest break so far in this year's Betfred World Snooker Championship. Just needed the one chance and he cleared the table. He extends his lead. It's now 8 frames to 4. Nice to see the players having a little chat. You don't often see that, but that's nice to see. And Anthony just come back into the arena, popped out for a comfort break and made a poor break-off shot. But there was one shot in that break, and this was the one here that it was magnificent because he hadn't got the right angle. He had to force this in, Ken. And the topspin, I think we'll be able to show you.
Yeah, I mean, just watch the cue ball here. It stops there, and then the acceleration through the pack of reds. And the judgment as well, Dennis, just to be back on the black. It was just fantastic.
In fact, we've got a black and white there, the ball, to show you where you strike that ball to create the topspin. You see, he's hitting it, if you imagine that a clock face the ball, he's hitting it at 12 o'clock, and look what happens to the ball. It stops, it keeps spinning, and then eventually it picks up pace and runs on through the balls. A wonderful shot, and that's a great graphic to show you what happens with that topspin. It's still spinning away there.
Amazing in slow motion, isn't it? Yeah. But wonderful control and to keep
Thank
the
you,
break
quietly,
going.
please.
As I said,
Frame
Ding
13.
Junhui at his very best.
Ding Junhui to break.
Very close to the winning line. Last frame before the mid-session interval. A must win for Anthony McGill. There's the difference in break-off from the two players. Snooker on more balls.
In fact, it's a terrific break-off shot because the escape off the side cushion would leave the red to the left corner. There's reds either side of the bunch. Oh, hang on a minute. There's a little bit sticking out there, is there? Yeah, I think he can snick that and avoid the in-off. Maybe he thinks he can. See enough of it, but it certainly looked as if he could. I mean, he could swerve it if he doesn't want to risk the thin one. He could swerve it and leave the white up this end of the table. Yeah, I think he can see enough of this. Yeah, well played. Well, not the best flick in the world off the yellow. I say that because in the previous round, Ding Junhui knocked in a red similar to this and cleared the table. Don't think it was as easy this time as the previous frame, Ken.
Yeah, a little bit more difficult. Couldn't get his hand on the table, had the bridge from the cushion, but there you see things. Pot success 94%. Anthony McGill down to 85. Big target behind brown and green here. Pretty good. Very, very good. Excellent.
I'm just wondering if you can go twice across the table and into the left side of those reds near the pink. Let's have a look. Yeah, you might be able to do that. I don't think the blue's in the way, but it's not a normal type of shot that you would play. That's the sort of shot that could be available to him if he wishes. He's got other options as well. I think he's going for the twice across.
Foul.
Well, he played with right hand side, so
Anthony McGill foot.
it tells me he's trying to get onto the red behind the black, which is very difficult indeed. I'm just wondering if the middle pocket's in the way, because the cushions are just sliding slightly.
Anthony?
To get into the side of the reds might be a difficult angle.
That was a good line though, wasn't it? The first attempt to the red next to the black. It's a little bit more pace and he might actually hit it this time. It's going to slide and then straighten up. Oh, very unlucky.
And a miss.
Well, a possible
Anthony
red
McGill
to
foot.
the left centre. Will he take it on here, Anthony McGill?
He just suddenly spotted it.
He's just going to come and have a look. If the red is potable below the black, then of course it makes this a little bit more difficult. Puts a bit more pressure on him. If the red below the black doesn't pot, then it sort of takes the pressure off because it's almost like a shot to nothing. So, but it's an opportunity. It's there. Excellent shot.
Eight. Nine. 16.
Just a fraction the wrong side of the red that he wants to take, so this one will give him better position on the black.
Long rest, yep.
Yeah, it's a little bit awkward, that. Yeah, it was a funny little incident there because he was going to have the ball replaced. Let's just look at Anthony here. To, have it. Oh, I've just spotted a red. Old eagle eye Ken Doherty had spotted it, and then Anthony did.
He's got a few loose reds available, but maybe an opportunity to go into the pack of reds here. He's blessed with a lot of cue power, so there's no problem in that department. Go into the bottom of the bunch here. Try and develop some more. Now, how's his look? Could have been better.
24.
Now can he recover the situation with a good pot here? It's a must-win frame for Anthony. You always feel as long as your opponent needs 2 frames, you're in with a shout. Terrific pot, but just over screwed that slightly, and he's left with a difficult cutback. As we show you the good pot, but not quite as good with the cue ball there. This is a toughie. Oh, and a miscue. What a time to miscue, but hang on a minute, he may not have left much. He's got a 33-point advantage. He's put the black safe with that miscue and the pink safe, so it's not going to be costly. Playing it with bottom and a lot of side caused the miscue there. Mid-session interval coming up after this frame. At 8-5, he's still in with a chance.
Did it. Well, it's not bad where the cue ball is finished. A little bit awkward for Ding Junhui here. Played it with a lot of right-hand side just to straighten the cue ball up again, to avoid the red on the right-hand side of the table. This cue ball's gone very close to this corner pocket. Just okay. Played that as a double and a safety, and he played it with such pace that I thought that, well, if he misses it, it will go safe. But the fact that it got so close to going in, it stayed over the pocket. So not a chance for Anthony McGill here. Oh, he's judged this very nicely. Always so difficult when the red is in the middle of the pocket to try and judge the pace, but have a look at where he's landed on the blue. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, he had a choice there to pot the red and try and open things up, but now he's got perfectly on the blue. He can open them up with the next shot. Could free everything here.
Six.
Yeah, there's every chance he could have brought both pink and black into play. Pink's okay. Black didn't spring out as much. Oh, it's still on as the black. I've just spotted it there, and he's
Seven.
got onto it absolutely perfectly here. So he's far from finished yet in this year's Betfred World Championship, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's sticking in there.
14.
That's all you can do, I suppose, when you're not playing at your best. And he's certainly not playing his best, but he's still fighting.
15.
Well, what Anthony's showing here is what a great temperament he has. Sure break off in the last frame, and things go away. Cleared the table, but he's bounced right back here with this effort. Just a bit
30.
of noise on the other side of the arena there at the mid-session interval.
Noise there, please. $31.
Little smile there. He's left himself the wrong side of the blue, but because of the red near the corner pocket, didn't really matter. But
36.
Or it shouldn't really matter.
$37. $44. 45.
Pretty good standard from both players in the this morning's first 4 frames. Frame safe, so no pressure on this long red. He'd like to knock it in and possibly clear up, but not that important.
53.
Yeah, I suppose the good point from Anthony McGill's view is that he's letting Ding know that he's still in this match and he's still competing. He's not going to give up. There's plenty.
60.
Plenty more to come, I'm sure, after their mid-session interval.
61.
He's needed a couple of attempts. This has been an excellent break from Anthony
68.
McGill.
69.
Has he come far enough over? He wanted to be on the pink to pot it and just bring the last red into play. Still might be able to do it. Not quite, but it doesn't really matter about that. The most important thing there was that Anthony McGill took the frame. He's still got a mountain to climb, but he's still in there. It's 8-5 to Ding Junhui.
Well, it might be a mountain to climb, but he has shown a lot of character, hasn't he, to come back?
Yes, exactly, especially after losing the first frame. I think he's probably done as well as it could be expected to level that session. And who's to say, mid-session interval, just sits back, comes out, wins the next frame and asks Ding a few more questions. It still does look like Ding's got a little bit in the tank, enough to get over the line, but even so, great performance by Anthony McGill. And to some degree, when you see him play like this, you wonder how he sort of struggled this season. He's not had the best of seasons.
Yeah. OK, well, let's catch up with what's been going on table one. The 4-times world champion John Higgins is in action against Mark Davis. And what's really interesting is that for Mark Davis, he sets a record. This is his 10th qualification. And we mentioned the head-to-head earlier. In the 12 times that these two have met, Mark Davis has the better record. He's won on 7 occasions.
Yeah, that's quite amazing, isn't it? When you consider their track records at the World Championship, you'd expect John Higgins to have the best of it, but just shows you how good a player Mark Davis is.
And absolutely anything can happen in this game, can't it?
Certainly can.
OK, well, let's join the action. Davis actually took the first frame in their meeting with a break of 57. And we're going to join the action in frame 2. Our commentators for this one are John Virgo and Alan McManus.
Thank you. The second frame. Mark Davis to break.
The ideal start then for Mark Davis. John Higgins did not score a point in that opening frame, so just looking to settle. Half chance here. You always think anything but thick. You don't mind missing this as long as you miss it on the thin side. Oh yeah,
Well,
struggled in, but that'll do nicely. John feel a whole lot better. You knock a nice early long red in. It's one of those nice chances. Half a dozen reds in the open. Black on to both corners.
3. Thanks, John.
Could have played for the black there, but decides to play for the pink. I'm not certain if the pink spot's going to be available.
Just give me a second, please.
The fact that we've just heard the referee saying, can you give me a second, means that it isn't. So that's the reason he played for the pink. There's two reds just on the top of the cluster that will go to the right corner, and that pink just being put in line with the middle of the top cushion as close as possible without touching the reds.
Thank you.
That doesn't interfere with any other pots that he might have eyes on.
11.
So as you say, Alan, good chance.
$18. $19. $26. $27.
There's our referee this morning making his debut at the Crucible, Rob Spencer, and not before time. I think he's one of the very best referees we have in the game at present. I've thought that for a few years.
32.
One of those authoritative, easy for me to say, voices, you know, he's very good. Seems to be in charge out there. And while John
33.
then, getting high on the blue, it's a nice target this, isn't it? Just that apex red, a little buffer zone, the one to the right of it, just to hold the cue ball. So it'll be going in now with some pace. Played it lovely. And that's just about, well, just about perfect actually. Not full pace, was it? But he knew he had that little buffer zone, the other red.
Yeah, it was one of those situations. You could have finished up on nothing, but as you say, in the end, it worked out perfectly. He'd have been unlucky if it hadn't, of course. It's always remarkable when you look at John Higgins, and we saw the defending champion Mark Williams and Ronnie O'Sullivan, 46. You know, that class of 92, and they're still there, and they're still at the top of the game. It's remarkable, really.
47.
Yeah, class. There's no substitute, is there? And just that a little point on that going into the pack there. It's sort of, for these players, not so much they're superstitious about it, but when they, you know, get in the club in the morning or play a match, or the first couple of times you go into the reds, when you land, as John has done in this occasion, gives you that nice little feeling. 54. You think, oh, this could be a good day. You know, some days you go into the pack 10 in a row and you land on nothing. So John then getting 55. Close to the point of winning the frame. Just low in this pink, just a little brush cannon on the reds. Just caress them into open play. Beautiful.
Yes, it didn't take much to lose a frame, and that's the way it's looking now, because just this red and the black, and it'll be snookers required.
Thanks, John. 61.
Yeah, you break off, you leave a half ball pot, in it goes, and then you sit down the rest. It's a tough school.
62. Thank you.
And this black now to go 69 points in front. with just 67 remaining.
$69. $70.
So, just remains to be seen whether John can go on and make the century. He's made 138 century breaks at the Crucible, John Higgins. He's second in the all-time list.
77.
There's a lot of really good players who haven't made 138 in their careers.
Cheers, thanks. 78. $85. 86. 92.
So red. And you play for the black to make certain it's a ton.
93.
John Higgins masterclass this has been. Superb.
Yeah, vintage wizardry from the wizard. He's off and running in his 2019 campaign. See if he can make the TC, the total clearance. Oh, not quite.
John Higgins, 100.
What a way to get yourself back in level terms. A sparkling vintage century from John, and we're all square. It's one frame apiece.
A great reaction there from John Higgins, and that century from Higgins made it 1-1. That's actually Higgins' 139th century at the Crucible. So we're going to rejoin the action in frame 3. Davis has a 1-point lead, and he's at the table.
1.
To win this frame at this visit, that red near the right-hand cushion we were saying was going to be a problem for John Higgins. That's now going to be a problem for Mark Davis. Didn't play the best positional shot there. But he's played a nice positional shot on that occasion. But two awkward reds to come after this one. He played for the black, but he didn't stun far enough across. I don't know whether he's got the angle on the pink to stun across that red near the right-hand side. Well, if he's playing the black, he's going to play a cannon on the red near the top cushion and try and develop it. He's got the black. Oh, it just went to the near jaw. Looked in. Fraction. Stayed out.
Yeah, and look at the angle he's left on this red now. John just trying to promote the other one off this. The danger slipping round the back of it. Oh, he's just pushed it too firmly. Still has a decent angle in the blue. Possibly play to promote the red for the second time. Yeah, John, as JV said, he probably is the best in the game at playing a double. He's kind of contemplating leaving it, but the red being virtually touching the cushion, I don't think the double's on. So he's trying to promote it. Well, my mistake. He has played for the double. Just the fact that the green is where it is. He wants to play it as a shot to nothing. Well, it'd be a shot to something, wouldn't it? As I say, he's looking at trying to get on the green. Whether he can avoid the double kiss when playing it. Big shot this coming up. The black helps him too. He can't leave the red to that corner, obviously.
John Higgins 6.
Well, close, but he's got second prize. It's early in the match, but this is a big frame now, because both players, whoever loses it, will think they should have won it. So it will hurt. Both had good chances.
Foul and the miss.
That was a bit careless, but I know what he's trying to do. He doesn't want to hit it half ball on the left-hand side as we look. Could he be knocking it onto the right corner? He was just trying to just nudge it to the cushion, knowing that the black blocks the pocket.
Mark. Sign a bit this way. This way,
Yeah, you mentioned that English Open final, JV, and the foul that when he feathered the cue ball, he actually called it on himself. Tells you all you need to know about Mark Davis, one of the gentlemen of our sport. He'll never steal anything on the cue ball. Played it nicely. Good shot. Just wonder if John's going to be interested in the double to corner this time. Don't know whether he can play it. He's looking at the green, so he might well be tempted. There's some value in playing it.
It's close. It's there.
Well,
as I say, of all the top players playing the game today, no one for me better than John Higgins at a double. He's just about on this green. You can play it with a little bit of confidence, knowing that if it did stay in the jaws, the yellow wouldn't go past it. But obviously he wants the green in the pocket. Oh, but he's under-hit it. Well, he's just about got there. He's going to play a delicate little positional shot here. I mean, if you're on the practice table, you play this with the right-hand side, a little bit of screw just to check it, but it's a delicate shot, this. Played it well.
6.
So, looks for all money now that John Higgins is going to win this third frame. It could have gone either way.
No.
Brown puts him 18 points in front, 18 remaining. So he still needs the blue. Close to the cushion, but as I say, just needing the blue, just rolled it in. No heroics. And in goes the pink, so it's John Higgins who takes the third frame. It could have gone either way. Mark Davis had his chances. He'll look back to the fluke that got John Higgins right back in it. But the scoreline reads, John Higgins 2, Mark Davis 1.
So back-to-back frames for John Higgins, took that one to 2-1, but then Davis came back, as we've seen him do in the past, and he won the fourth frame to bring things level to 2-all. You can continue watching that match on the red button. But if you've been with us, we've obviously been following the Ding Junhui against Anthony McGill match, and just before the mid-session we saw McGill claw back another frame. What do you think is going to happen now?
Yeah, well, he's done his job. He's keeping in contention best he can. this next frame is very big for him, really. If he can win this one, that would help no end. But he doesn't want really to let Ding get to 9, because once a player's at 9, that's the danger mark, really. But he's done what is required from him. But he's somehow, I don't know how he's going to outplay Ding during the week, because he looks pretty strong.
He does. We've seen the highest break of the tournament so far, produced by Ding. He produced a break of 134, so we could see some more of the same.
Yeah, and this is all about getting through the first round, really. It's always a banana skin, the first round. He won't be bothered about how he gets through. It doesn't have to be pretty. It's just getting to that best of 25 second round match that he's got his eye on.
OK, well, let's see what happens. Back to our commentary duo, Ken Doherty and Dennis Taylor.
Anthony McGill to break.
Thank you, Seema. Anthony, let's see if he can make a better break-off shot this time. No value in trying to pot that because the black was tied up. He'd like to play the red to the right of the green and get the frame back to normal. Either player would want a frame of the red start going up the other end of the table.
Doesn't want to push it too close to this bottom right-hand corner pocket. Leave Ding a free shot. He'll definitely take this in. Try and get the cue ball down around the back of the black. Back up for blue or ball colour. Excellent shot. Well, he's kissed the black and the red and hasn't worked out too bad. Bit fortunate. But excellent pot. I think the red on the extreme left of the bunch will pot into the right corner pocket. So he just has to get the cue ball back to more or less where it is now. Needs to slow up. A little bit. I'll be happy with that.
8.
Good recovery and nice position on the blue now. Now must hit the pink here, full ball. Just watch the cue ball. Excellent at this shot, Ding Junhui. Oh, great shot. Now, how's his look? Looks okay. Very good.
14.
Beautifully controlled, Dennis.
Yeah, that really has opened things up. It's worth another look at that. Hit the pink full ball, half ball. He could have gone in off to either pocket, but played it to perfection. Just Anthony's safety shot wasn't the best when he decided to play the red that was to the right of the green. He hit it a bit too hard. To one more good positional shot, and they're there for the taking.
I'm not quite sure if he's dead straight on this red. If he's dead straight, then he won't be able to use the top cushion. May have to. Well, he may have an angle just come off the top cushion for the black. Oh, he's okay.
15.
Could have done with hitting it a little bit harder, but he's still okay. He can use the red just above the black, just to cushion the cue ball and hold it for either red into left or right-hand corner pocket. See, just a nice little cushion off that red. He's in perfect position again.
22.
Well, they're sitting like you would throw them on the table for a practice session. And it's hard to believe we're looking at a player who's been a professional 16 years now, Ken. Where do the years go?
30.
And just talking about 16 years, my granddaughter, Annie Reader, 16 today. I'll see you after the World Championship.
31.
"42 years at the Crucible, Ken, yeah, and I've been here for every one,
38.
either playing or commentating, and I still love coming to Sheffield."
Yeah, such a wonderful atmosphere in the city when the snooker's in town. Great buzz. Great buzz in
39.
the Crucible Theatre here. A wonderful venue. 42 years. Mike Watterson recently passed away. He found this venue all those years ago, and it's been here since 1977.
46. 47. 54. 55.
I mentioned 42 years. There's a man in the audience with his wife who's been coming every year. Mr. Keith Walker and Sue there, his wife, from Bradford. Been here since 1977. I'm sure there's a lot of people in the audience who've been coming every year too. There's Keith and his wife, always here. Nice to see you.
60. 61.
Just one mistake again from Anthony, and it's proving costly. Ding had pushed the red up towards the green, and Anthony wanted
68.
to get the frame back to normality, and he hit that just too thick. He was hoping to push that red onto the right side cushion. But it was a wonderful long pot
69.
from Ding. Okay, he was a bit fortunate to drop on the black, but he deserved a bit of good luck after the great pot.
$74. 75.
And once again, positional play in this break has been exemplary from Ding Junhui.
81.
If he keeps scoring like he has done in this match, it'll be a handful for anybody.
82.
Yeah, absolutely, Ken. I mean, all the talk, I suppose, quite rightly, is about Ronnie O'Sullivan, Neil Robertson, Judd Trump. But this is a player that's quite capable of lifting the title. Well, there's quite a few. Anybody that turns up at the
88.
Crucibles in with a shout of lifting the title. Oh, what a shot.
89.
Like, can he hit the yellow to pot it and possibly move the two difficult reds? It'd be some shot if he pulls this off. Oh, unlucky. You can always fluke one. Just hit it as hard as you can. There's 6 pockets there.
91.
Calling all pockets.
Jingwei, 91. And
Well, nice break from 91. No century from Ding Junhui, but he won't mind. He's on another frame. He's only one frame away now from a place in the next round. He leads Anthony McGill by 9 frames to 5.
And we've just seen Ding register another high break. Some fantastic snooker from him.
Yeah, he's very efficient amongst the balls, and that was a particularly nice one for him to win that frame. He doesn't want Anthony to get even close. Over the years, I always thought that Ding Junhui was a great front runner. Once he gets in front, he looks comfortable and calm. The only way to sort of really unsettle him in his chair is if he starts missing and the other guy puts pressure on him. But as yet, Anthony McGill hasn't done enough, and certainly didn't do enough in the first session. So it does look like the writing's on the wall for this one.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of pressure on Anthony McGill in this next frame, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. Although, if you're going to sort of look at the season that he's had an awful season, really, by his standards. I suppose getting to the World Championship was a bit of an event as well. So somehow he's got to kickstart his career, and so perhaps some optimism for next season. But I know there's still frames to go. If he turns around, goes 10-9 up, then there's another story.
It certainly is. Well, Ding is 1 frame away from booking a place in the second round. Let's find out what happens. Back we go.
Well, I suppose Anthony now just has to give it a go. Nothing to lose now, just look at that, 98% pot success rate. That's fabulous. Anthony could do with knocking this in. He'd get on the black if it goes in. Sort of a free shot that he was always going to be on the black, and the only red he could leave was the one that he missed, and Ding can get through to it, as you can see. A wonderful positional shot there, and he's right on the blue as he was in the previous frame. Worth another look at this with the top spin to get back up on the blue. Here we go, straight into the pink full ball again to open the game up. And he's played it well again.
As I said in the previous frame, he's one of the greatest exponents of that particular shot in our game. And just look at the split. Fantastic. And particularly with the red coming up towards that left centre pocket. The black is available into at least one corner pocket.
Little debate for us, Ken. Who was the first to play that type of shot? Stephen Hendry. We all say Stephen Hendry. Steve Davis seems to think that he played it before Stephen Hendry. So the blue went into the bunch. It was a stun shot, and then all of a sudden now it's played with lots of bottom and screw.
Yeah, and it's the importance of hitting the pink full ball as well, isn't it? Just watch it as he hits the pink full ball, just holds the cue ball in the middle of the table. I mean, that's what you want to do. You don't want to lose the cue ball.
12.
What is it? To a very high percentage every time. Ding Junhui. Wants to get down around the black as soon as possible.
And of course, I tend to forget these players played each other last year in the Betfred World Championship in the second round, and Ding ran out a comfortable winner, 13 frames to 4. Oh, that's nice. Hit it a little bit harder. He left it much thinner than he intended.
Missed a couple of these blacks yesterday's session. Hit them to the high side of the pocket. Much better this time. Excellent shot. Again, great control. A lot of right-hand side on the cue ball.
25.
And we'll try and have the pot in this black. Maybe take the red that's to the right of the black, so the black can be available into both corner pockets. That's gone wrong. Tried to cannon the red towards the right-hand corner pocket.
33.
Yeah, we'll just show you that again. But he's got one up into the left corner pocket. There's one to the middle pocket. I think the one up to the left corner past the blue would be a better choice. He's not hampered with that. The one for the middle pocket, he'd have to bridge over the other red. Let's see how he feels. Now he can get to the one to the middle pocket, but the red's a distraction there, as you can see. Good recovery.
34.
Didn't get enough topspin on the cue ball there.
38.
Wanted to be down past the blue. Yeah, just made that a little bit more difficult. Very, very
38.
disappointed with that.
Yeah, just a couple of times in this effort he's lost close control of the cue ball. I mean, it's comfortable. You wouldn't say that was pressure, 9-5 in front. But we always do say that the final frame to get you over the line is always the toughest one to win.
One. Eight.
Could try and pot this red into the bottom right-hand corner pocket and try and dislodge the red that's close to the right middle, but he doesn't like that.
No.
He's going to need that red. It'll be open at some stage. He's going to win the frame from this visit. Just held it enough. Won't be thinking about winning the frame from this visit because of the, obviously the red and balk very
15.
tight to the ball cushion. Red on the right hand side cushion as well. But certainly get back into the frame and get some points on the board.
Sixteen. $22. 23.
Just have a look at that red. Let's see, will it pot if you can get behind it at some stage? The one into the right centre pocket.
30.
Yeah, I'm right behind the shot, right down the line, and it doesn't look as if it's available. You'd have to be right in behind it just to drop it in, but that's 3 or 4 shots away.
It's a careless positional shot to land dead straight on this black here.
Yeah, he had to hold the spot, and the only available spot for the black's the yellow.
37. $38.
If that keeps rolling, he's got an angle on the pink to bring that red into play now. The other two are still going to be difficult, but this can release the one near the middle pocket. Oh dear. Just slipped around the back of it. Bit unfortunate there.
44.
Any sort of cannon would have done, but the thin one was no good to him.
Yeah, just go back to maybe a lot earlier in this break when he had a chance with the red to knock that red out and still be on a colour, and didn't take the opportunity. And now maybe ruining that missed chance.
Anthony McGill, 44.
I just feel throughout this match, Dennis, that Anthony McGill hasn't been as positive as he really should have been. A few chances earlier in the first session. Just being a little bit negative as he got close to the line in certain frames, and it cost him dearly.
One.
It was a good pot from Ding Junhui here, but it has to be said Anthony should never have left him that half chance. He's put himself in trouble now.
Ding Junhui, 1.
He's so close to the brown he can't come off a side cushion. You're going to have to find an alternate, so it'll be the cushion you'd think near the left corner pocket to come round past the green. See, you can't come off the back cushion and just straight up the table to the reds, but that's awkward cueing. He's going to need the long spider, and it's going to be very awkward because he won't be able to see exactly where he's cueing, because he's got to have the butt of the cue so high in the air.
I think if it was you or I playing this shot, Dennis, we might need a step ladder. Very difficult, isn't it? He could miscue here. He's got to be very, very careful.
Very difficult to see down the line of the cue. It's asked someone in the audience, is that okay? Look how close he is to the brown there. No, you might as well stay there. Don't be moving at me. If this straight doesn't go into the middle pocket, then we'll have it replaced. So just he's leaving the
Yeah, back.
It's hard to get the pace on this that you need because of the way he's having to strike down on it.
How's that for you?
So he's trying to come off the ball cushion, off this top cushion, and nestle into this red on the right-hand side cushion here. It's a good line, but is it hard enough?
Foul.
No, unlucky. Unlucky.
Ding
Very good line, though.
Third time lucky.
Yeah, ding.
As I say, it's very difficult to judge the pace because of the awkwardness of the shot here. It's hard enough this time.
Thank you.
Great shot. Excellent shot. Very, very good. Ding will try and get the cue ball up here behind the black.
Thank you. The 7th frame.
Needs to go. Thing. Have a go at this red. I think it's the angle isn't there. Too difficult. These middle pockets are so small, so tight. It's got to be only a couple of inches. If the cue ball was a couple of inches behind the red, he'd be okay. But from this distance, it's very difficult.
Some very good tactical play going on here, but one mistake wouldn't cost you the frame, you'd have to say, with the yellow being safe. Don't know what happened there. I think the curtain in the middle maybe was caught by one of the players the other side. Anthony could see it moving there and just got up off the shot. It's so tight in the Crucible when there's two tables. There you can see that partition there, and I think someone on the other side maybe just bumped into it on the way around, and Anthony had caught his eye. Well, he's hit this all wrong. Not the best safety shot that Ding Junhui's ever played, that's for sure. But as I say, with the yellow ball being in a safe position, may not prove too costly. brilliant cheering. In fact, he hit that so well. I mean, talking about hitting a shot to perfection, the white stopped, and then all of a sudden it gripped hold of and screwed it right back past the balk line. That's where you hit the cue ball at 6 o'clock, as we say, if we use the white as a clock face.
Anthony McGill 1.
Yeah, not that difficult to hit this red, but I think we'll try and use the side cushion, top cushion, and try and hit the back of the red, leaving the cue ball exactly where the red is, sending the red up the table. He's got to judge this. Oh.
Foul and a miss. Anthony McGill 4.
I think the pace that he hit it at just
straightened it up.
Yeah, it did straighten it up, didn't it? Yeah.
I think the angle is there, definitely just past the middle pocket. A little bit of right hand side. He's got a full ball, but he'll be happy with that.
This is possible. He could play to sneak this in if he wanted. Okay, he may not be on a colour. He'd be heading back up towards the cushion behind the black spot. That's the reason he didn't bother even attempting it. But he's played that well. Had the black had been on its spot, he would have had a go at that red.
Thanks, Anthony.
There was nothing available had he had tried his shot to nothing. As I say, that yellow is the key ball at the moment. Even if Anthony escapes from the snooker and sticks the red up, it won't be an easy chance.
Foul. The miss. Ding Junhui 4.
It's a free ball as well, but there's no advantage with that free ball.
Free ball.
Checking the scoreboard, the pot is on. If he wants to have a go at it, he can have it replaced. He's just having a little think to himself. Yeah, I think that's the right decision. Have it put back.
No, that's unlucky. Good hit. Hitting down on the cue ball, but chance now for Ding.
Oh, has he got the angle on the brown to pot the brown and bring the yellow into play? I think he has. He's unlucky. I don't think the yellow passes the green. and it's too thin for the middle. Had he have come off the cushion, hit the yellow full ball, it would have been end of match, Ken.
Yeah, just surprised how hard he hit the cue ball there. It didn't need, only needed a slight touch of knocking the yellow away from the cushion. So reprieve for Anthony McGill. Oh, just a lovely little shot, huh? Unlucky, just a little bit too pacey. Very clever.
He got a little double kiss there, otherwise he would have had the snooker. Just the slightest of double kisses there. Just watch this here. It would have been a snooker, but watch the white. Just flicks the yellow.
I'm just wondering, is he going to play the double here, Dennis? Risky. He's played a wonderful shot there. Didn't attempt the double in the end, and just look at where he got the cue ball. Excellent shot.
Now, Anthony McGill, does he try and get a bit of pace and hit the yellow from behind? If he tries to just nestle on the yellow, he's got to get it just right. I think he's just playing to nestle onto it the way he's queuing up. Now he's gone with pace. He's hit it full ball. Is it going to be okay if it flicks the green on the right side? It's okay. He's got the snooker. Was hoping to hit that yellow from behind there, but he'll settle for the outcome. Didn't get enough side on that. Chances there, so the battling Scot trying to keep himself in this year's Betfred World Championship. He's been here for a few weeks, won 3 qualifying rounds. He doesn't want it to end just yet.
Got to come between brown and blue here. Looks to have judged that very well indeed. Excellent shot. He's 5 points behind, so he's going to need up and including the pink.
No.
Now can he drop nicely in behind the pink? He will leave the pink for the middle or the corner pocket. Just got the perfect angle to drop in behind it. Here comes the cue ball. Oh, he could have played it
14.
better than this. It's a trickier one up into the right corner. And because he's quite close to things, having a look at one of the monitors to see how difficult it is, it's always difficult to judge this when you're so close to the object ball with the cue ball. So this, to keep his dreams alive. Well played, it's there. Well done, Anthony McGill. He's not finished just yet. He takes the frame, keeps himself in this year's World Championship. It's now 9-6.
And the twists and turns continue, Steve. What a frame that was.
Yeah, I know, it looked like Ding was going to sort of get over the line there towards the end. You got Anthony in a few difficult situations, but all credit to Anthony in the end. But Ding Junhui had a gilt-edged chance earlier on. He was amongst the balls, and he was a bit, you know, overstretching, I think, for this shot. But you didn't expect him to miss it.
It's not an easy shot.
Well,
But you expect him to
not,
put
but you expected it. He'd already scored a few points on the board, and all of a sudden that gave Anthony enough sort of a fillip to get back in the frame. But I think he'd be disappointed that he didn't clinch the match there and then.
Yes. And again, Anthony McGill continues to battle on.
Yeah, well, our fighting qualities, I think, all the top players have got that, but some seem to have it in more than others. And if you were going to sort of try and judge Anthony's strengths and weaknesses, I think the fighting qualities and his general match play is one of his strengths. But he's still got to somehow stamp his authority on the rest of the game. And he hasn't got much time left, obviously. He's got nowhere to go. The other guy's on 9 frames.
And what does winning a frame like that do for a player's confidence?
Well, it's nice in as much as you know your opponent's frustrated that he hasn't clinched the match there and then. So, if a player is likely to get in the needle with himself, then possibly go, oh, that's Andy, perhaps another one that he messes up, then he might start to get, negative thinking. But he knows the game well enough to know he's just got to play every frame as it comes along and try to get every frame on the board.
But we're actually staying on until 12:30. The question is, are we going to see the conclusion of this?
Debatable. You never know. You never know.
We never know. OK, well, let's head back to the action and see how this one plays out.
Well, last time Anthony McGill went out of the arena, came back to break off. It wasn't a very good break. He's got to concentrate on this and got himself back into this match. His back is against the wall, but he's still in there fighting. Not a good one. Very similar to the previous one. Again, be disappointed with that. Lefting a free shot here. Yeah. As I said, 9 times out of 10, these top players will plot that particular shot. You've got to be so careful, just even on the break off. You've got to get that cue ball tighter to the ball cushion and behind yellow or green.
Is it going to be a repeat of the frame where made the poor break-off shot and
6.
Ding Jiangmei made a clearance of 134.
Seven.
Just looking at the table, there's still 3 reds available, the 2 near the black, and the one to the right of the bunch of reds is also on.
$14. $15.
Just having a look at a possible 2-ball plant into the right centre. 2 balls that are closest to the pink. Maybe a plant. He just had a quick look at that.
22.
Just off.
$23.
He's only got 1 more red, as you said, Dennis, and that's the one, the extreme right of the bunch.
Yeah, there was no value in playing for the blue that time to go into the pink and reds because the pink's away from the reds.
28.
Another look at this plant, but it looks to be going towards the left part of the middle pocket.
Well, as I mentioned, the pink's away
29.
from the red, so this would have to be absolutely spot on. You definitely have to hit the pink full ball. Or it looks as if he's playing for that possible plant. Yeah, he feels that he can make the plant. It was just off line slightly, but because they're so
34.
close together, he can make the angle.
Good pot, but got into the cue ball a bit too much. Well made.
It's amazing the number of times when you play a plant, you tend to lose the cue ball a little bit.
Yeah, couldn't really do anything with that black. Didn't want to dig down on the cue ball.
42.
So, just a 42 break. And a good safety shot will be required.
42.
But it's not a good safety shot. It's a poor one. He's left Anthony McGill at half chance again. Ding Junhui in first, as in the previous frame. He was disappointed.
Well, if ever you needed a good long pot, Anthony, it's now. Well played. Very well played. Okay, it might be a little bit straight on the black. And he may a little bit straight on the pink. That was the distance there, you can see.
Just having a look here, Dennis. There may be two ball plant into the left centre. There's a bit of distance between the two, but those two balls, that's the one that Anthony is just looking at there. May be able to make those into a possible plant. Because he's come so straight on the black, he doesn't have many options.
Yeah, it needs a little bit of care and attention because of the distance between the two reds. He's just looking to see where he wants to. He's picking a spot where he wants to knock that first red onto. That was never easy, that.
Anthony McGill.
He was a bit unlucky the way he finished on the pink and the black when he knocked that long red in, Ken.
Yeah, a bit the wrong angle, but the problem for Anthony here is he's left this red. Didn't intend to leave this red when he was playing that plant. Oh, wow. Wow. That will make Ding a little bit nervous. Roy smile, but be extremely disappointed.
Hey, didn't look too bad there, left-handed, switched hands. He looked quite comfortable. He must practice quite a bit with the left hand. And if somehow he could nick this frame, Ken, you know, 9-7, it would give Ding Junhui quite a bit to think about.
Absolutely. He's just chipping away at the lead at the moment.
No.
Just a little bit of a distraction. Someone. They're so close to you, the crowd. If someone just says something to a friend,
16.
you can hear it. Always misjudge that slightly. When you're playing that sort of cannon, it's easy to do that. He's let the white run away, and now he's put himself under a bit of pressure here.
his recovery again.
24. 25. 30. 31. 38. 39.
Well, sadly, we'll have to leave things there, but you can continue watching to see how these matches conclude between Ding Junhui and McGill and also Higgins and Davis over on the BBC website and app. No red button at the moment, as there's currently some women's football being shown. And don't forget, Hazel Irvine is back at 2 o'clock to bring you the conclusion also of those matches and to show you Sean Murphy against Lu Hong Hao. Well, as for us, that's it. Hope you've enjoyed your Sunday morning with us. I'll see you again tomorrow.